Champion Serena Williams was forced to retire from her first-round match at the All England Club after suffering an injury in the first set. The 39-year-old Williams was leading 3-1 in the first set when she slipped during a return in her quest to become a record-tying 24th Grand Slam title champion. It was all love from the fans as she tried to play through the injury and then eventually, unfortunately, limped off the court. But what a sight. The fans love her so much. Now, Monica, you think Serena has it in her to win another major?
This one breaks my heart, Carly and Perk. I mean, we have literally watched Serena be fantastic over the course of her career, and it was heart-wrenching to watch this yesterday. Unfortunately, I do think that Father Time, injuries, and the growth of the game, credit to Serena and Venus in terms of more quality talent in the pipeline. I don't think that Serena is going to break the record in terms of Grand Slams. The competition continues to get better, to her credit, as she has set the bar so high. And we know that she just continues to struggle physically at this point in her career. So sadly, I hope this wasn't the last time that we saw her. I do hope she gets to go out a little bit more gracefully, unless, of course, she decides to bow out now, which we would totally respect. But I don't know that she's going to get the Grand Slam record.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go another route with it, okay? And far as praising Serena Williams today. And I'm going to say this. She could show up to every major tennis event and lose in the first round, have an early exit, and it don't even matter. You know why? Because she's one of the greatest athletes of all time. She's sitting up there on Mount Rushmore. So at the end of the day, what she did for tennis, what she did for the culture, is second to none. So I don't even care, right? It hurt my heart to see her go out the way she did because of injury. But at the end of the day, Serena Williams is already cemented what she did for tennis, for the culture. I just want to applaud her for it and give her flowers.
Name another athlete that was in a Beyonce video, y'all. You can't? Okay, that is her greatness.
Okay, so she's almost broken a record, 23 Grand Slam titles, been in a Beyonce video, nothing that this woman cannot do. Monica, is she the most dominant athlete of the 2000s?
You know, we get great questions on First Take. Shout out to our producers. I went digging for some people that might be comparable, and I came up short. It continues to be Serena Williams, the class of the 2000s. You look at how much winning she did, right? You 1, 2, skip a few. Every other year, if not every year, she was picking up a title. She's got 22 major titles on her career. She's got 8 Wimbledon victories. That's only one behind her sister, who has 9 of those. But not only did she win in singles competition, she won in the doubles competitions as well. And so in terms of racking up the hardware, last summer when that video went viral of her in her trophy room, and she was casually like, oh, we don't keep second place around here. Like, not many people have that trophy room. So between it being an individual sport, between how much she dominated this sport, hands down in terms of cleaning up all that hardware, it's really hard for me to think of anybody else that was as dominant over the course of the 2000s.
Well, Monica, let me help you out, okay?
Please.
And it's a guy by the name of Floyd Mayweather, okay? Floyd Mayweather. And I get it. He may not be the people's champ. I know he's flamboyant. A lot of people don't love him. They don't like what he do. A lot of people don't applaud his approach and his arrogancy and everything else about it. But when it comes to him boxing and mastering the sport of boxing, he has done it like no other. I mean, he has 0 flaws offensively and defensively. He's a cultural icon to all the upcoming boxers. Everyone wants to be like Floyd. By the way, 13-0 in the year 2000s, right? For his title runs, right? 5 KOs. And when you talk about it in 4 different weight classes, that's incredible. And it's just, you know, when we think about Floyd, we think about how he's a self-made guy, entrepreneur, don't need anybody, is not endorsed by anybody, don't have endorsements. He boasts and he brags, but when it comes down to boxing and it comes down to one of the greatest to ever do it, Floyd Mayweather is standing up there with the best of them, and it's one of the most brutal sports in sports history, in sports, right? You know, you standing one deep, you at any given second, you could get knocked out, you could get knocked down. He never got knocked down, he barely gets hit. At the end of the day, he's undefeated. He don't even know what losing is. He's never taken a loss. So I'm going with Floyd Mayweather as the most dominant athlete in 2000.
Okay, Perk. All right, that's not a bad choice. But I hereby declare in my Sunday Mother's Day best, as you called it, you want to throw a little shade, I'm going to lean into it, that the tiebreaker in this conversation is a Beyonce video. So don't at me, it's actually Serena, because Floyd could never.
Floyd, you know what Floyd could never also do? He could also never be a kick-ass mom like Serena
Come on.
All right, I just saw pictures of her daughter. She was in Versailles dressed as a Disney princess while her mother was trying to
In
take the...
Versailles?
I mean, come on. Can we compete with that?
I'm going to fall back. Yeah, no, I'm going to fall back. I'm going to fall back. I'm not, y'all not about to,
That's right, fall back. All right, women dominate. Let's go.
There it is.
All right, well, let's keep it moving right here on...
We'll see how he is tomorrow.
It's not great, but it's an opportunity for somebody else and everybody else to step up. It's the East Coast finals. There's no excuses. It doesn't matter. Whoever's playing, who's not playing. They got guys out. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's banged up. Everybody has injuries. You got to fight through it and win.
It's really unfortunate. Giannis is going to undergo imaging today to determine the extent of his injury, but there is a good chance he could miss Game 5. So, Monica, which Buck is going to have to step up in Giannis's absence, should that be the case?
Charlie, well, the honest answer is the entire unit has to step up. Anytime you lose a star, it is a replacement by collective. But I'm looking in particular at Drew Holiday and Lopez for me. When you look at the way things will shift, it now becomes Holiday as a playmaker and a scorer, and of course, Chris Middleton. To me, because the defense of the Hawks will no longer have to account for the way that Giannis feels the paint, and prior to his injury last night, we saw the way that they were forming that wall and protecting the paint. You're now going to need some of your role players to be in position to knock down shots when Middleton creates, when Holiday attacks. And so to me, that's Brook Lopez. We could go down the list, really. That also includes Connaughton, that includes Tucker, guys that are willing to hit shots when the defense can now adjust to send more than one body to either Holiday or to Middleton. And so this is going to be an interesting test for this Bucks squad. We have a interesting example that we just saw in terms of what the Hawks were able to do without Trae Young. I know I'm following the score on my phone. I had a flight last night. Get off the flight. And I'm like, wait a minute. The Hawks beat the Bucks without Trae Young?
No one was expecting that.
No one was expecting that. And so the idea that you still don't have a roster filled with NBA professionals, that's very dismissive of how talented these guys are. However, Giannis is a two-time MVP. He obviously is the head of the snake when it comes to this Bucks squad. They are a much better team with him than without him. But can they get a win? And hopefully he can get back on the floor. I do believe so.
Okay, and Kendrick now here with us. So Kendrick, what do you think?
You know what? I just can't believe Monica is taking it so lightly to start the morning off and not addressing the issue like my saying. The numbers on the house. Here it is. Chris Middleton is getting paid. He has signed a contract for 5 years, $177 million, okay? Drew Holiday signed the extension for 5 years, $160. Those guys are getting paid the big bucks. Last time I checked, the Bucks had a big three, and it was Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday. So that now that Giannis is out, I expect Chris Middleton to elevate his game. I expect him to have consistency. I expect him to go out there and average 30. I witnessed it last year against the Miami Heat down in the bubble when Giannis was injured. Chris Middleton rose to the occasion. Drew Holiday, they traded Eric Bledsoe for you. You're the common denominator. They gave you a contract extension. You were told this is the guy that's supposed to move the needle. Now that Giannis is hurt, I'm putting all the ownership on those two guys to elevate their game and get them past this Atlanta Hawks team, especially with an injured Trae Young.
Good morning, Pat. Who are you yelling at first thing in the morning? You yelling at me or you yelling about the situation?
Well, first of all, I tried to talk to you earlier, but you couldn't hear me or you was ignoring me before the show started. Nah, don't get sassy this morning, okay?
All right, listen. We agree in that they are the big three. Middleton and Holiday are obviously the other two healthy players, that make up that big three. But Perk, my thing is, if we trust that those guys are going to do what they're supposed to do, like you always say, it now becomes that much more important that the others are able to show up because the defensive attention that Giannis garners can now be shifted to Middleton or Holiday, who do not have the overwhelming physical presence. So all I'm saying is when Middleton steps up, when Holiday steps up, the others have to be prepared to step up as well, whether that's on the glass, whether that's the defensive effort, and particularly on the offensive end, because they have to be legitimate scoring threats in order to create those lanes. Because those two, the other two of the big three, are not as overwhelming in the paint. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with you. Look, and we have to realize that Brook Lopez is a guy that you could still go to on the low block. He's a guy that's capable of having 25 and 13 points in the game. He's still that good. But when I look at Chris Middleton and I look at Drew Holiday without Giannis, now all of a sudden some ownership has to go on Mike Budenholzer. He has to redraw up his playbook. He has to put those guys in position to be successful. He has to come to the table like Ty Lue did to Paul George. He had a meeting with Paul George and he said, you know what? When I go to the steakhouse, I don't want to just eat salad and appetizers. I want the filet. I want the corn cream brulee, whatever it's called. I want the sauteed spinach. I want the whole meal. So with that being said, at the end of the day, Monica, look, Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, they're getting paid the big bucks. And when you get paid the big bucks, you got to deliver in great fashion.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
He's not wrong. Okay, look, ESPN's BPI gives the Milwaukee Bucks a 48% chance to win the NBA title if Giannis is healthy to play for them the rest of the way. Only a 23% chance should he not be able to play. So that's a big, drastic change in numbers there. So we wish Giannis the best. Hope to see him in Game 5. But let's look at the other side of things, because with Trae Young sidelined, the Bucks look to Lou Williams.